snap. There's the kick. It's gone. Oh my gosh. The kick is gone.
Boston Sports Nerd present Joe's Fantasy Field Goal.
What's up, guys? We are back with another Joe's Fantasy Field Goal for Week 11 of the NFL. We're getting close. Week 14 is the start of most people's playoffs, and obviously, like I said, we're on Week 11, so we got about 4 more weeks until the playoffs are here. It is officially handcuff season. So, if you have a big-time running back, think Lev Bell, think Jordan Howard, think Melvin Gordon, think Kareem Hunt. All of those guys, over the next couple weeks, you might want to grab their handcuff just in case. Just in case Lev Bell goes down. Just in case Kareem Hunt goes down. We just saw Devonta Freeman go down. We lost Zeke Elliott for what looks like pretty much the rest of the fantasy season. He'll be eligible to come back week 17, which is great for the Cowboys is fine, but for the actual fantasy season, that's the end of the year, pretty much. Most teams will be done by then. So, and if you had those handcuffs, you're good. If you don't, well, someone else is benefiting from your loss, and you don't want that to happen come playoffs. So it is now handcuff season. Go get your handcuffs. We're going to kick things off by getting right to the streamers for this week. So here they are.
Islands in the stream, that is what we are. No one in between. How can we be wrong?
All right. So first on the list for streamers at quarterback, we have Blake Bortles. He is taking on the Cleveland Browns. He's coming off a pretty good game this week, and Cleveland sucks. It's pretty self-explanatory. You pretty much always start the quarterback against that's playing Cleveland, and it happens to be Blake Bortles this week. And he's probably... I have some guys on here who I don't think are going to be available. Blake Bortles is probably my favorite out of all of the guys that are... out of the guys because I think he's definitely available. Next on the list, we have Jay Cutler versus Tampa Bay. The game is on currently, so I don't know how Jay Cutler is doing right now. But he seems to have figured some stuff out since he got hurt. He's played pretty well, and Tampa Bay's defense is not that good. So I like the matchup of Jay Cutler versus Tampa Bay. And a little sneak peek at who I have for defensive streamers. I think there's a chance that Miami has the ball quite often in this game because of the Tampa Bay offense being awful. So I like Jay Cutler this week. Next on the list, we have Andy Dalton. He is playing Denver, which is an insane thing to suggest at the start of the season or even last season that I would like the quarterback that's playing Denver. But Denver has now given up 90-plus points in the last 2 weeks. One game at home, one game on the road. This does not at all seem like the Denver defense of old. That being said, I am the most down on Andy Dalton for this week. I would probably pick any of these other guys I'm giving you over Andy Dalton. I'd definitely play Blake Bortles over him. While Denver has looked sorry these last 2 weeks, I still don't. I mean, they could bounce back at any time, and Andy Dalton with a bad offensive line is a great time to bounce back. So while I do think Andy Dalton is an okay stream this week, he's probably the highest risk, and I would go with one of the other guys on this list. Next on the list is Phillip Rivers versus Buffalo. Buffalo has just a complete turnaround on the defensive side of the ball from being one of the best defensive teams in football to just giving up everything to the other team. I think they've had like 300-yard passers the last couple weeks. I think, you know what? The Pats might have Space Jammed these motherfuckers. You know, in Space Jam, where the aliens steal all the talent from the NBA players with that ball. The Patriots might have done the same thing to the Buffalo Bills, because as soon as the Pats defense started playing better, the Bills fell off the cliff. But Phillip Rivers is going against that Buffalo defense, and you know, he's a gunslinger, and that's always good for fantasy. So I like Phillip Rivers against the Buffalo defense. And last on this list is Joe Flacco, my least favorite quarterback in the history of quarterbacks, but he is playing Green Bay this week, who has a very, very bad defense, and I think the Baltimore Ravens are a very good matchup defensively against the Green Bay offense, so I do think that Joe Flacco will have a lot of chances with the football, so I like Flacco over Green Bay this week. Moving on to the defenses. As I prefaced earlier, I have Miami versus Tampa Bay. I have the Miami defense as a good stream this week. Tampa Bay is playing Ryan Fitzpatrick. He is a turnover machine, as you saw in the Jets game. Where in the Jets game, Ryan Fitzpatrick and Josh McCown threw turnovers on back-to-back plays, which is an insane thing. Just a little tidbit there. But Fitzpatrick is prone to turnovers. They're playing against Miami's defense. Miami has looked pretty decent, and I think there's a chance for some turnover points with the Miami defense this week. Baltimore, they might be available actually because they are coming off of a bye. So a lot of people probably dropped that defense to pick up another defense that was playing that week. So check your waiver wires. Baltimore might be available coming off a bye. They're playing Green Bay, which means they are playing against a pretty bad quarterback, and they are a stout defense. So look for them on your waiver wire. That's probably my favorite play of the week if they are available in your league. Next we have the Lions versus Chicago. Chicago, obviously, they struggle on offense. They have a rookie quarterback. They have pretty much just a run game. And the Lions have been okay on defense. They have been forcing a lot of turnovers. Early in the year, they seem to have fallen off a little bit, but you know, versus a bad offense, I'm fine playing the Lions this week. We have the Texans versus the Cardinals. This is a good matchup only because the Cardinals will be playing Matt Barkley. Matt Barkley is the backup. Who did the Texans sign? Oh, Blaine Gabbert. The Texans will be playing Blaine Gabbert at quarterback. And he is not a good quarterback. And neither is Matt Barkley. So, the Arizona Cardinals. I am fucking this up right now. The Arizona Cardinals will be playing Blaine Gabbert at quarterback. And his backup is Matt Barkley. Both are bad quarterbacks. And they're playing a Texans defense, which has been pretty bad since they lost like everyone. But I trust them against those bad quarterbacks. So I like the Texans this week. Kansas City is playing the sorry ass New York Giants, who are one of the worst teams in the league. And I thought maybe, they were bad, but they weren't as bad as everyone was giving them flack for. They are fucking that bad. And they've just given up on the season. So Kansas City should just rout New York in New York. Yeah, I don't even think it'll be close. That's a great pickup, but they're probably owned. And last on this list is the Eagles defense. I like them this week. They're probably owned in a lot of leagues, but if they're not, I really like them if the left tackle for Dallas is not playing. which I think he'll be out this week. If he's not playing, we just watched the Falcons sack the fuck out of Dak Prescott. The one dude, Adrian Claiborne on the Falcons, had like 6 sacks in the game by himself. That left tackle, their backup left tackle, cannot block anything. I mean, anything at all. He just gets boom roasted off the line every fucking time. So if Tyron Smith, the Dallas Cowboys left tackle, is out, I'm firing up the Eagles defense because just sacks get you points, and there's bound to be numerous sacks in that game if Tyron Smith is not available. And that is it for my streamers at quarterback and defense this week. We are going to move on to a slightly smaller than normal waiver wire wonders.
And I wonder if you know the wonder of it all.
Alright, and we are back with the waiver wire wonders. First on the list, I actually have 2 Patriots players on this list, both running backs. We have Rex Burkhead. Rex Burkhead is he's probably the least owned Patriots running back out there right now, but he has been steadily contributing to this Pats offense week after week. He just had a good week this week against Denver. He had a good week last week. He's getting carries, getting receptions. He can score touchdowns on the ground or through the air. He's obviously involved in the offense, and it looks like Gillislee is taking a very, very backseat role. He wasn't even active for the Denver game, which means more touches for Burkhead. So I really like Rex Burkhead this week. Go pick him up if you don't have him yet. Next on the list, we have Robert Woods. Who would have thought going into the season, if I met you before the season started, right? I walked up to you and I was like, hey, I bet you that the Rams have the number 1 offense in the NFL. You would probably punch me in the dick and never listen to my fantasy football podcast because that would be the hottest of hot takes at the start of the year. But guess what? The Rams have the number 1 offense in the fucking NFL. And Robert Woods seems to be the primary receiver there. In the last 5 weeks, he has had 4+ receptions. He had 2 touchdowns last week. He is their primary target. That's 5 weeks of 4+ receptions. He is consistently a part of the offense, and it's the number 1 offense in the NFL. So if you're consistently catching passes in the number 1 offense in the NFL, you are definitely fantasy relevant, and he is very available. Very, very available. Next on the list is the other Patriots running back, Dion Lewis, who I think was on last week's waiver wire wonders. He should be added. The same thing. He's had at least, I think, 10 touches on the ground for the last 4 or 5 weeks. He's pretty much essentially their main running back right now, with Gillislee taking a very far back seat and not even being active. Carries are being split between Lewis, Burkhead, and James White, with Lewis carrying the ball the most. He has the most carries pretty consistently. So the number 1 running back for the Patriots offense, even though it's a running back by committee, he will touch the ball a lot, and the running back weapons for the Pats are very involved. So I really like Dion Lewis this week. And last is Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams is the 3rd string running back for the Packers. Aaron Jones went down. Ty Montgomery hurt his ribs. He's been dealing with hurt ribs. So that running back duty falls on Jamal Williams now, who was, in my favorite running back the Packers took out of the draft. Aaron Jones kind of leapfrogged him with his big-time performance. But I really like Jamal Williams. He's a big bruiser, and he had 20 carries last game with Montgomery sidelined and with Jones sidelined. And if Montgomery continues to be bothered by those ribs, expect a much increased role for Jamal Williams, so I really like him. as the last waiver wire wonder this week. And last but not least, we are going to go to start sit, talk about the matchups for the upcoming fantasy football week.
I'm ready to go in, Coach. Just give me a chance. I know there's a lot riding on it, but it's all psychological. Just got to stay in a positive frame of mind.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains? Yeah, if Coach would have put me in fourth quarter, we'd have been state champions, no doubt.
All right, so let's run down the start sit for the upcoming fantasy football week. First game, Thursday night, we have the Titans at the Steelers. In this game, I would play, I'd feel fine playing Mariota, DeMarco Murray. I can't think of Delaney Walker. And probably Rashard Matthews for the Titans. For the Steelers, obviously you play Big Ben. You play Antonio Brown. You play Lev Bell. And you play Juju on that beat. Juju Smith-Schuster is 100% a must-play, I think, going forward. He is completely surpassed Martavis Bryant as the number two receiver there. So I am playing Juju Smith-Schuster every week. Next, we have the Jaguars at the Browns, Sunday, 1 p.m. I am playing all of my Jaguars. Leonard Fournette, fire him up. Blake Bortles, fire him up. The wide receivers there, who I can never remember nor care about, Marquise Lee and whoever the other one is, I would fire both of them up too. For the Browns, Duke Johnson and Duke Johnson and Isaiah Crowell has been playing much better recently, and I think I would play him probably as a flex against the Jaguars' rush defense that has not been great. So I would probably fire up Isaiah Crowell based off what I've seen the past couple weeks from him. Moving on, we have the Buccaneers at the Dolphins, Sunday at 1 p.m. For the Buccaneers, you still have Ryan Fitzpatrick at quarterback, so I'm not playing him. I think you still got to play Doug Martin. He's been pretty disappointing, but I think you kind of have to play him because he can beat Doug Martin at any time. Mike Evans is back, so you're playing Mike Evans. I'd feel fine playing Cameron Brate. And I guess Deshaun Jackson is flex-worthy. The Dolphins aren't that good of a defense. For the Dolphins, I'm playing pretty much all my Dolphins. Whatever running back you have out of the running back duo that splits time is probably flex-worthy. I already said Jay Cutler is a streamer. Jarvis Landry is a must-play. Devontae Parker is a must-play. Kenny Stills, maybe you flex him if you're weak there, but he's not as good as he is when Matt Moore is there. When Matt Moore is playing, Kenny Stills is a fucking stud. But with Jay Cutler taking over again, I would rely on Jarvis Landry or Devontae Parker. Next, we have the Ravens at the Packers, Sunday at 1. For the Ravens, obviously I said Flacco is streamable. If Danny Woodhead is back, I haven't read any stories about it, but if he's back, he's worth playing. If not, Buck Allen continues to be worth playing. I like Alex Collins this game as a flex or running back 2 even, if you need to. Wide receivers, I guess you could play Jeremy Maclin if you have him. Wide receiver 3 or a flex. And that's probably it. For the Packers, I'm playing Jamal Williams or Ty Montgomery, whatever running back is available. Obviously, you're playing Jordy Nelson if you have him. Obviously, you're probably playing Devontae Adams if you have him. And that's probably it. I have a feeling the Packers are going to be down big in this game and have to throw. That's just my idea. So maybe you could get some garbage time points with either of those guys. Next, we have the Lions at the Bears, Sunday at 1. For the Lions, I'm playing Stafford. I'm playing Golden Tate. I'm playing Marvin Jones. I'm playing Amir Abdullah. And that's probably it. For the Bears, you're obviously playing Jordan Howard. Tariq Cohen might be worth a flex. And that's it, because everything else on the Bears is shitty. For the Rams, next game is Rams at the Vikings Sunday at 1 p.m. This is a tough matchup for the Rams. The Vikings defense is pretty good. Obviously, you play Todd Gurley. If you want to play Jared Goff, I don't have a huge problem with it, but it's not the best matchup at all. I would feel fine putting Robert Woods in the flex. And that's probably it for the Rams. Robert Woods as a flex. Obviously, you play Todd Gurley, and if you like Jared Goff, then you like Jared Goff, but I think there are better matchups. For the Vikings, you're going to play Jerick McKinnon. You're going to play Stefon Diggs. Everyone should be playing Adam Thielen. He should be an every week start for you. That dude is a fucking monster. And that's probably it. Move on to the next game. We have the Cardinals at the Texans Sunday at 1. For the Cardinals, this team is going to struggle. You're probably only playing Larry Fitzgerald and Adrian Peterson. If AP is healthy, I think I heard he got hurt in the last game. If Adrian Peterson did get hurt, and it's a significant injury, Andre Ellington immediately becomes valuable again. But if Adrian Peterson's back, I would probably play him. I don't know how much I would expect from him, but I would play him. And Larry Fitzgerald is worth playing. Other than that, I'm probably staying away from the Cardinals. For the Texans, the thing about the Texans is when Tom Savage. When Tom Savage is the quarterback, the only person that gets the ball thrown to them is Nuke Hopkins. So if you have Nuke Hopkins, it's a great thing. You play Nuke Hopkins. You play Lamar Miller, and that's probably where you end it, because I don't think any other Texans are valuable at all with Tom Savage at quarterback. But if you have Nuke Hopkins, you love Tom Savage at quarterback because all he does is throw at Nuke Hopkins. Moving on, we have the Chiefs at the Giants Sunday at 1. This is going to be a rout. If you have a Chiefs player, you play the Chiefs player. You fire up Alex Smith. You fire up Travis Kelce. You fire up Kareem Hunt. You fire up Tyreek Hill. You might even fire up like fucking Albert Wilson or the other weird wide receivers the Chiefs have. I just think they're going to score a fuck ton of points in this game. It's not even going to be close. I'm firing all my Chiefs up. For the Giants, you play Sterling Shepard, you play Evan Ingram, and that's probably it. Maybe Orleans Darkwa if you need a running back, low end running back 2. That's probably all I'm firing up though. Maybe Orleans Darkwa, definitely Sterling Shepard, definitely Evan Ingram. Next, you have the Redskins at the Saints Sunday at 1. It's your last 1 o'clock game. The Saints have looked damn good. Fucking damn good. For the Redskins, you're going to play Kirk Cousins. You're going to play Chris Thompson, especially since Rob Kelly is going to miss multiple weeks. So that means Samaje Perine, who I completely forgot about, is a waiver wire wonder for this week, guys. So go pick up Samaje Perine if he's on the waivers, which I think he is, because Rob Kelly is out for multiple weeks. Which means Chris Thompson gets an uptick in usage, and Samaje Perine gets an uptick in usage. Other than those two, obviously you're playing Jordan Reed, Jordan Reed's hurt. Vernon Davis is still a good play, though. And that's probably it. I don't know if I'm fucking bothered trying to pick a fucking Redskins receiver to choose. I would play Vernon Davis, though. Or Jordan Reed. I think Jordan Reed's hurt. I can't remember off the top of my head. Whatever tight end is healthy for the Redskins is worth playing because Kirk Cousins loves this tight end. Chris Thompson is worth playing, and Samaje Perine is worth playing, because I know for a fact that Rob Kelly is missing multiple weeks. For the Saints, it's at home. You're playing Drew Brees. You're playing Michael Thomas, who's been having fucking great weeks back-to-back. A lot of receptions, a lot of yards. And you're playing the two stud fucking running backs for the Saints right now, and Alvin Kamara and Melvin Ingram. Melvin Ingram? Ingram. You're playing Ingram and Kamara, Breeze, and Michael Thomas for the Saints. You got Bills at the Chargers Sunday at 4:05 for the Bills. Tyrod is a low-end streamer, but obviously I picked other streamers. I like them more. Charles Clay is back, so he's worth playing. If you have a need at tight end, Charles Clay is 100% worth playing. And LaShawn McCoy. And that's probably it. For the Chargers, I like Phillip Rivers. He was in my stream. Melvin Gordon. Keenan Allen. Hunter Henry, probably. And that's it for the Chargers. For the next game is the Bengals at the Broncos at 4:25 on Sunday. For the Bengals, I'm okay streaming Andy Dalton, but he was my least favorite of all the streams. Obviously, you play A.J. Green. Joe Mixon has really turned it on. We just watched the Pats running backs torch the fucking Broncos out of the backfield. So Joe Mixon and Giovanni Bernard could be heavily involved in this game plan. So I'm definitely playing Joe Mixon. I don't know if I would play Giovanni Bernard. But Joe Mixon is definitely worth playing. AJ Green is worth playing. Andy Dalton is worth streaming. And if you're in a pinch, I would be okay playing Brendan LaFell. But I would probably shy away from that. For the Broncos, fucking Emmanuel Sanders had a good game. And Osweiler seemed to really like to throw to him. So I'm firing up Emmanuel Sanders. And Demaryius Thomas, obviously. And probably C.J. Anderson. That's who I'm playing for the Broncos. Next, we have the Patriots at the Raiders. Sunday, 4:25. It's not really at the Raiders. It's in Mexico City. For the Patriots, I'm playing Brady. Obviously. Gronk, obviously. Cooks, obviously. And then probably Deion Lewis and Rex Burkhead, and I would feel okay flexing Danny Amendola. So a lot of Patriots. The Raiders' defense isn't great, and I feel like the Pats are going to put up points pretty easily. For the Raiders, you're obviously playing Derek Carr. Marshawn Lynch is probably a low-end RB2. I would probably stay away from Marshawn Lynch. Fuck it. Low-end RB2 for Marshawn Lynch. Amari Cooper, you're playing. And Michael Crabtree, you're playing. And Jared Cook has been pretty fucking good for the Raiders this year, so I'd be okay playing him at tight end. Next, we have the Eagles at the Cowboys. Sunday at 8:30, the primetime game. For the Eagles, fucking Carson Wentz is out there slanging it. So, I'm playing Carson Wentz. I'm playing Jay Ajayi, who looks like a fucking resurged beast in the Eagles offense. He'll be fucking great for the rest of the year. So, Carson Wentz, Jay Ajayi, Alshon Jeffrey is a play. Fucking Zach Ertz is a fucking must play every week. The dude's a stud. And I would be okay flexing Nelson Aguilar. For the Cowboys, you're playing whatever running back you have. Well, no, you're playing Alfred Morris in replace of Zeke. You play Dak. You play Dez. And you might play Witten. that's probably the best case scenario for the Cowboys, for who I'm playing. And the last game, Monday at 8:30, is the Falcons at the Seahawks. As Dave would say, both of these teams are broken teams. So who do I want to play? The Seahawks have no Richard Sherman, which is a fucking big deal. I think the Falcons might win this game. In Seattle, the fucking Seahawks offense has looked fucking awful. Yeah, I think for the Falcons you play Matt Ryan. If Devonta Freeman's back from his concussion, you play Devonta Freeman. If he's not back from concussion, Tevin Coleman becomes a very good start. You play Julio Jones, obviously. And I would feel fine playing Mohamed Sanu as a flex too, because that probably fucks up that whole secondary with Richard Sherman out. For the Seahawks, you play Russell Wilson, you play Doug Baldwin, you play Jimmy Graham, and that's probably it. I don't know if I trust the other wide receivers there. The Seahawks offense just isn't good. It's just not good. So I'm definitely not playing a running back. So it's Russell Wilson, it's Doug Baldwin, it's Jimmy Graham. And that's it for Joe's Fantasy Field Goal for this week, guys. So, like I said, we're only 4 weeks away from the start of the fantasy playoffs. So this is crunch time. If you're like me, I'm about 500 in most of my leagues. So this is big weeks up here where it decides whether you're making a playoff push or you're out sitting on the couch come week 14. All that being said, good luck, guys. Stay tuned to the network. We just had a awesome 4-star sports bar review come out, a Dave Speaks that I got called out on, which I will 100% be responding to, no doubt, on the B.S. Nerds podcast, so stay tuned to that. Aaron had an awesome WECP, which I just listened to today. I'm a little behind. Obviously, we have the Boxy Boys every week. Dow breaking down some sports betting, some national headlines in the sports world. So stay tuned to the network. We have some good content out there for you guys, and obviously more good content coming. Rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff. Leave a review on iTunes. 5 stars, 4 stars, 4-star sports bar. And have a good fantasy week. Good luck.
Bye.